Hi there, it's me again, Joe Clark. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube where I do fun and interesting things with Cisco Modeling Labs, or CML. I'm not feeling too well today, so I may cough, but I'll try to keep it at a minimum. But what I really want to show you is how to upgrade your CML installation to the latest 2.9 release, which just came out and features, among other things, Docker container support. So that's a pretty cool feature, and it's available in all tiers. Because I like to live dangerously, who doesn't? I'm going to upgrade my cluster. I have a 3 node cluster just running in VMware. And I'm going to do it live, more or less. So I will pause every so often so you don't have to deal with all the loading and things that don't really matter. But the point is, I want to see if I run into any problems, because you might run into those problems, and we'll try to troubleshoot them here so that you hopefully have a better experience with CML. Now, before you get going, make sure that you meet the minimum requirements to upgrade. What you see here, I have a CML 281 server. That's my cluster. It's running 281. You can also upgrade from 272 directly to CML 29. But if you have anything earlier than 272, you need to upgrade to 272, and then you can go ahead and upgrade to 2.9. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So there are all my labs. I don't think I have anything running currently, but oh, I do. I have this one. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. So make sure you stop all your labs first. It's also, you might want to show all and show list and just go and make sure everything is off as an admin user. And the reason I say that is because CML will allow you to put its whole thing into admin mode and maintenance mode, or sorry, in a maintenance mode, and set the nodes to be registered. But if you do that and you go to upgrade, it'll say labs are still running. It doesn't shut down the labs. And so you have to go undo all that you just did to shut down the labs and then proceed. So I just recommend just remember to shut down the labs first. So it looks like everything on my cluster is down. That's good. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and upload the image I'm going to upgrade to. So I'll say choose file. Scroll down here, I get the CML 290 build 3 for AMD 64 architecture, the PKG file. So that's the upgrade file, and I'll say upload the image. It's not terribly large, 151 megs, so that works pretty quickly. Great. Now it tells you here what you need to do. You see all labs must be stopped, but it doesn't alert you to that. So just remember to do that. Then all compute nodes need to be in the registered state, and maintenance mode must be enabled. So I like to go to system administration maintenance mode first. I enable maintenance mode, click save. You see the banner, it's in maintenance mode, fantastic. I come here to compute hosts, still in system administration. I check all, so the box for all of them, and I'll change the admission state. So they're all ready. I'll change it to registered. When you do that, you get the toaster pop up, and then you see everything is not ready. Oh, scary. It's not bad. That's what you want. At this point, we're able to move over to Cockpit and do the upgrade. So if I go over to Cockpit, I've already logged in here. This is the default CML tab. You can see there's a software upgrade option. If you tuned into my upgrade to 2.8, I mentioned that there is a log file that you can tail with SSH in the background, and that will give you a little bit more confidence, let's say, as you do this, because you don't have to worry about Cockpit getting logged out on you. So over here in a terminal, bring it into view here. I'm already on the server, so I'll sudo myself, and I'll go to var log viral2 setup. And in here, there's a viral to cockpit software upgrade log. So just remember that. We'll bounce back to here and I'll show you that that's getting updated. So come here and we'll start our upgrade. Again, this is live. I could mess up and things will happen, but we'll work on it together. We'll try to get through the issues. Click upgrade, upgrade again, I confirm, and I go through here, and everything looks like it's progressing. That's good. Stopping all the services. So let's quickly go back to my terminal here. Let's tail the log file. I'll make it a little bit bigger. bring it back into view so you can see it. I'll tail the log file here. We should see the exact same thing. So you see how it's scrolling a little bit in the background here. I'll move it off screen a little bit, and you can see that we're getting here. So this log that we're tailing is going to be consistent even if Cockpit gets logged out on us. And Cockpit might get logged out on us because Cockpit itself gets updated, and then it would get logged out. Now, what it's doing right now is updating all of the Linux packages that are needed, because we want to make sure all your security updates are done and all of that. And we want to start from a known good state. Now, one of the issues we may run into, because it started to bite some of our users, there was a recent update to the Ubuntu SSH package that changes the way SSH is configured. So it's a bug on their package, and it causes the CML SSH, the SSH on port 1122, which is what this is right here, causes that to fail because SSH only binds to IPv6. So if we run into that, I'll show you how to work around it. Um, we probably will run into it. So we could just watch this. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause, unless there are any issues. If there are any issues, I'll come back to it. I'll unpause. But since I have 3 nodes in my cluster, this needs to run for all 3 of the nodes. So the controller and the 2 compute nodes. And that's just going to take a while, and it's a lot of duplicate stuff. There should be nothing you need to do as this is running, other than just watch it, make sure it ends, and I'll show you the line you want to look for in the log to ensure that it's ended. So I'm going to pause, a little movie magic, and we'll get back when we're at another action point. Okay, so look where we're at. Did all 3 of my nodes and finished, and this is what I want to see. Finish CML to cockpit software upgrade. And you can see right above that, global upgrade completed, code 0. Code 0 means, yay, everything is good. Any non-zero number is usually bad. So kudos to the CML engineering team. This upgrade was very successful. It upgraded 3 nodes. And what I didn't mention before is even if you're not an enterprise or education customer with cluster capability, the same process is going to work with your personal installation or your CML free installation. You just have 1 node to deal with. Now, a lot of them, you can see some of it still on the screen. A lot of those updates involve kernel updates as well. So you must reboot all of your CML nodes. If you're personal or free, you just have the 1 node. If you're enterprise or educational, you may have multiple nodes. Like I said, I have a 3-node cluster, so I'm going to get back over here in the cockpit, and I can connect to each of my nodes. So I'll go over to on the controller. So I did everything from the controller. You always have to. So I'm going to go over to compute 1 here, and I'll just go to the terminal, and I will do a sudo system ctl reboot. Give it my password. Go over to compute 2, and I'll do the same thing. So reboot, and then I'll finish up on the controller because I don't want to cut my legs out from under me. I'm already root here, so just do a system ctl reboot. And so all 3 of the nodes are rebooting right now. These are virtual machines, so they shouldn't take too long to boot up. In fact, I'll pop on over here to vSphere and bring up the console on the controller and validate that it comes up. Looks like controller is booting. That's a good sign. It seems to be going. There we go. So great. I'm back in on my controller. That seems to be functioning. So let's head on back over to the CML main interface. I'll do a shift reload. Now, I'm in Firefox here. Whatever you do in your browser to clear the cache, clear the cache. Always when you upgrade, you want to clear the cache because there are always UI elements changing. Even though we don't do a big UI refresh, there are always UI elements changing, and you might get some funniness or some weirdness if you don't clear the cache first. So I'll do a shift reload because that forces it. Nope, I'm still in maintenance mode. The upgrade doesn't take you out of that. That's something we're going to have to do. But pay attention. You saw it was 281 before. Now it's 290. We're on build 3. That is the official release of CML 2.9. I'll log back in here as my admin user. Uh, we'll get notified about telemetry again. You can opt in if you, or opt in, opt out of this if you're not a free user. If you're a free user, telemetry is mandatory. So I'll dismiss this for now. I'll go ahead and put all of my nodes back in the ready state. So compute host set to ready, that's the first step. So things start to turn green here, that's great. But I have to take the system out of maintenance mode. So I'm going to go over here, take it out of maintenance mode, click save. And ideally, we should get all of this going green. So great, everything goes green. We are at a healthy state. Now let's go over, create a lab. We'll add a node, and we scroll through here, and we're like, huh. I got some nodes here, but I don't have any of the containers. So even though Docker support was added in CML 2.9, and we do have quite a few containers that you can make use of, they aren't included with the upgrade itself. You still need those rough plat ISOs. In addition to Docker, we also added ICE support. So there's on the supplemental rough plat ISO, there is an ICE image, the Identity Solutions engine. And there's also the Catalyst 9800 wireless LAN controller on the supplemental ISO. But we want the containers. We'll just start with that. So if I go over here to my VMware again, we do have the container image loaded in our library. So I'll say the content ISO file. Go, I will browse that. I want the 2025 16. So this should be, oh, that's 2024. I want 2025. 2025. That looks right. 2025 016. That should be the one. Add that. I'll say it's connected. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Um, Actually, before I get to that, let's take a look at this SSH issue, see if it bit us. So remember, I was logged in here, and we were using this session to tail the log file. So just in case Cockpit logged us out, we wouldn't be, oh, what's happening with the upgrade? We'd always be able to see what's going on. Let's see if I can SSH back in. Ah, connection refused. And you see my port is a little bit different. You'll be port 1122. We have a lab and things are like double natted, so that's why I have to use this port. But this port essentially maps to 1122. So yes, we were bit by the SSH issue. So I can use Cockpit. I'll reload Cockpit here. I can use Cockpit to recover from this. SSH on port 1122 is not mandatory. If you're not using it already, nothing's broken, you're okay, don't worry about this. But if you did rely on this to get in to administer the CML system, it's kind of nice to have it back. So again, I'll sudo myself in the terminal. And we'll go over to user lib system d system, and there is some SSH stuff. So there's this SSH socket. Let's take a look at this file here. Just to give you an idea of what's going on here. So what's happening is this property bind IPv6 only was set in that latest Ubuntu update that went through as CML was upgrading to IPv6 only. So the only way I can SSH is if I have IPv6 on my system, but there's a way to get around that. So there's this directory here, ssh socket.d, and in here there's this conf file that's we don't need anymore. So if we remove this conf file and then force, so if we remove the conf file and then force system D to reload, we should be able to get back into SSH. We might need a server reboot in order to complete this, but let's see if we can do it without it. So I first remove the file. If you're worried about removing stuff, you can move it somewhere else out of this directory just so you have a backup. But I'm going to remove the file. Then we do systemctl daemon reload. Okay, and then we do a systemctl restart on ssh.socket. Okay, let's see if that did it for us. So we'll go back over to our terminal, try to SSH in. Haha, no more connection refused. Ah, Great, we're back in on the controller. Fantastic. So the workaround works. So if you upgrade or you install 2.9 from scratch and you find that the SSH to port 1122 that you might have been using, again, not mandatory, but if you were using it and it's not working anymore, that workaround will get you sorted. But we want to do something more CML centric. We want that container support. So actually, I have the RefPlat ISO here on my Mac. Uh, I'll open it up in the Finder real quick and just show you a few things. So in the viral base images now, you'll see things like Chrome. Let's see, Chrome. There should be a Firefox, DNS Mask. There's an Nginx, Radius, Syslog, TAC Plus. These are the container images. The container images, the node definition and the image definition are very tightly coupled, unlike the other images. And they're small enough that they're all on the original RefPlat ISO. So if you just want the Docker stuff, you should copy over the original RefPlat ISO. You don't need the supplemental ISO for that. Now, something to be aware of, the copy refplat ISO that we're going to do, it copies everything. You may not want that. You may not have enough disk space for that. So you may be thinking, you know what I want to do? I just want to copy, I just want to copy some of these files over. And that's fine. You can do that. I did that in another installation. I tarred up the directories here of the container images that I wanted, and I moved that tar file over to my server and I extracted it and nothing worked. And the reason is if you do this on a Mac, there are hidden metadata files that'll get tarred up with those uh, main files. You'll have to remove those metadata files if you do that, and they'll have a dot in front of the name or an underscore in front of the name, but the bottom line is they still end in something .yaml, so CML tries to read that metadata and it fails. But in this case, I just wanted to show you this is what the layout of the new RefPlat ISO looks like with the container images. But we're just going to do, and I hope I have enough disk space. I increased my disk space. We're going to do the full copy RefPlat ISO. So I've mounted it. You saw I mounted it in vSphere here. It is connected. CD drive is connected. So this should work. If I just say copy, uh, we're going to shut down the CML services, and then we're going to copy. So yeah, looks like it's doing it. It's using XOR ISO to copy over the files. And so when it's done, we should have everything nicely on the disk. And that includes not just the container images, but all of the new, we always update everything. So if you look over here in the, didn't want to do that. Let's bring up the RefPlat ISO again. Um, in the base images, even for some of the older images like Cat8KV, that's been upgraded to 1716. Cat9KV is upgraded to 1715.3. One other thing with this, the Cat9KV, it is now fully licensed by default. So previously, we were only doing like a DNA Essentials license on there. Now it's the full license. So all of the features like BGP and all of that should be working out of the box without needing to do any other licensing stuff. We have a new version of IOL, 1716 base, and maybe a new Ubuntu. But you can see we get updates to those images, and we push those out like ASAVs, new. So it's always a good idea to check, make sure that you get what you want. I'm going to pause. This is going to take a little while to copy everything over. When it's done, I'll come back and hopefully we'll be able to set up some containers. All right, see, completed. And it says exited again with code 0. Always code 0 means success. Excellent. So we should, and it restarted the services for us, so we should be able to log back into CML and see what happens with our lab. Load again. Okay, looks like everything's up. We see the build number there. Log in. Oh, maybe I'll spell admin correctly this time. What about that? Okay, so we're back into this new lab that we created. Let's see what we see under the node definitions. We got a Firefox there. We got a Chrome. We scroll down, we have ice is there. I already had ice on there. So that, again, ice is on the supplemental rough plat. We have a net tools. We have an Nginx. So let's just try to get two containers connected to each other and see what happens here. Let's put in a Nginx and a Firefox. Okay, I'll connect them together. So we create a link. Um, By the way, when you look at one of these containers, you go to the config tab. This is where you can see, uh, for example, if you wanted to give this thing an IP address. So right now I've connected these things back to back. So we probably do want to give it an IP. So let's go ahead and give it, that seems reasonable. We'll give it 10.0.0.1.24. We'll bring the interface up, we'll click save on the configuration there. The other thing, if there are any environment variables we want to put in or any file system mounts, we can do that. This is all documented in the container documentation. So that's Nginx. So on our Firefox container, we have the same thing. We will give it an IP, bring the interface up, give it 2, save. Make sure I did give it 1 over there. Yep, 1 and 2, so that should be fine. So let's bring these up and see what happens. Go to lab, start lab. Hopefully they boot up. Yep, Nginx is good. So we can click on that, get its console, open the console, and it says ready. Okay, but that doesn't really give us much to work with. If we right click on the console tab, we could change the serial. And we can go to serial 1. And if we do that, we're actually in the shell of the console. And Ralph, the engineer who was primary on some of the development of this, he thought it would be cool if he added some of the full BusyBox utilities in here. So you have a few other, like VI, for example, you have a few other niceties at the shell level if you have to do any troubleshooting or things like that. But let's just make sure we got the IP address we wanted. Doesn't look like we did, actually. So we got it came up, but it didn't give us the IP address. Because it's wrong Ethernet interface. It's Ethernet 0 and we had Ethernet 1. Okay, no problem. We can. It's quick enough to start up. Let's just shut it down. Let's make sure we can do it right. This is why it's fun to be able to do these things in live with you. So we'll wipe this, come back to the config. We'll do it as Ethernet 0. Save the changes there. Come over, Ethernet 0. Save the changes there. And now let's see what we get. Okay, things started up real quick this time. Let's change the serial again over to, oh, we're already on line 1. Great. So let's do an IP adder show again. And that looks a lot better. INET 10.0.0.1. And over here, if we bring up our Firefox console, open it, we're on ready. Let's go to line 1. IP adder show. Good. See if we can ping 10.0.0.1. Are you root? I am not. Oh, no sudo. Okay, well, I won't be able to ping, but I am root over here for some reason, so I should be able to ping 10.0.0.2, right? Cool, I can. So now, we already have, when Ralph built this, he already had a default web page on here, a website. So I should be able to launch the VNC console for Firefox since it's graphical. Bring that up. That looks familiar. And if all goes well, 10.0.0.1, look in here, 10.0.0.1. Yay, Nginx. So this is how you could start playing with containers. And we have a lot of containers to get started with. And in our documentation, we show you how you can create your own container, your images using what's available in Docker, or you can create your own Docker images and bring them into CML. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was more or less a very successful upgrade. We had a couple of issues, but we were able to work through them. And I hope you're as successful in CML as I've been. I hope you're enjoying the product. Let us know what you think. We're always open to your feedback. Thanks.